Welcome back or welcome to the Surf Mastery Podcast, the podcast that helps passionate lifelong surfers to catch more waves and to surf with more speed, style, grace. I am your host, Michael Frampton, and today we are talking about the pop-up, aka the takeoff. It is the hardest maneuver in surfing, and it's the one thing in surfing that demands the most athleticism, going from lying prone to getting to your feet without changing the way that the board moves through the water or losing sight of the way the wave is breaking. That is hard. It takes a lot of athleticism to do that. And your pop-up isn't just about getting to your feet, it's also your entry into the wave. If it's slow or unstable, everything after that suffers. It's kind of like singing a song. You got to hit that first note. Now, if your pop-up feels slow or clumsy or inconsistent, not only is it costing you waves, it's costing your perception in the lineup. Are you a competent surfer that doesn't waste waves? Or are you looked at as a kook? Now, all good surfers have a good pop-up. I remember my first filmed surf coaching session, and that was the first thing we talked about was my pop-up. And until I saw the footage and spoke with the surf coach after, I didn't realize how bad mine was or really what a good one looked like. I'm so glad that that particular surf coach picked it up so early on. And after that, because my background is in personal training and movement development, I spent hours in the gym after that developing the strength and mobility to be able to do a fast and smooth pop-up on dry land. And that is the one thing that has changed my surfing the most. Maybe aside from reading the ocean better, that pop-up, getting that, it just does wonders for your confidence. Because getting to your feet fast and smooth, if you can do that, you have so much more trust in yourself to paddle into waves and to get to your feet with good timing. Getting your front leg underneath your chest and transferring that body weight from your ribs to your hands to your front foot whilst still looking at the wave and keeping the board planing through the water without bouncing or wobbling, that's really, really hard to do, and it's a very specific movement skill that needs to be developed. Now, most great surfers started very young and their bodies could do it when they were young, and as they grew, they sort of maintained that skill. But I, like many of other people out there, started late in life. I was already fully grown before I started surfing, and I had to develop that movement skill. I've also trained a lot of adult beginners to develop that movement skill on dry land, and I cannot stress how important it is. The good news is that you can develop a good pop-up on dry land. It's not easy, but it is simple. How do you do that? Let's start by understanding a little bit more about what the pop-up is. When you're surfing, you're paddling, so most of your body weight is going through the center of the board through your chest. Now, as you feel the waves start to pick you up and your board speed change, then you transfer that body weight from your chest to your hands and then onto your front foot. Now, it's a little more nuanced than that, but that's basically what it is. How do we train this? Or more specifically, how do we develop the ability to do this movement with control and agility? I would start by lying on the floor, lie down on your stomach as if you're paddling a surfboard, most of your body weight going through your ribs, and then bring your hands close to your chest and start to do a push-up. And then as you get to the top of the push-up, you bring your front leg forward so that your foot is in between your hands, and you transfer the body weight from your hands into your front foot. This is the point where most people get caught out. They simply cannot do it because they don't have the strength and mobility. There's not enough room for that leg to fit into that space, that distance between your chest and your hands or the floor. If there's not enough room for your leg to fit there, then what you'll have to do is push hard and fast off the floor. Then your hands leave the floor and that leg lands in between your hands, which is the mistake that a lot of people do on a surfboard. So there's a split second or even longer where the center of the surfboard isn't controlled by you. The best way to develop the movement is actually in reverse. So if you think of another exercise like a chin-up, the best way to develop strength for a chin-up, if you can't do one, is to do it eccentrically or in reverse. You hold yourself at the top of the chin-up and let yourself down really slowly. So the exercise that I recommend for improving your pop-up here is actually to do it in reverse. So you start by standing in your surf stance, you transfer the body weight all the way to your front foot, and then you slowly drop your hands down next to the front foot and slowly begin to transfer all your body weight from your foot into your hands, keeping that distance between your chest and the floor as big as possible, ideally so you can actually lift the foot up off the floor. So all your body weight is in your hands, but the foot remains in the same place. And then slowly take your foot back into the push-up position and then lower yourself down into the bottom of a push-up where you're in that prone paddling position. The goal is to be able to transfer your body weight from your front foot to your hands to your chest in a nice, smooth, slow, and controlled way. There is a free PDF on the homepage of surfmastery.com called The 5 Best Exercises for Surfing, which goes into detail on this particular exercise as well as some other ones that complement it. So go ahead and have a look at that. And on that note, do you know what's even harder? Is getting to the point where you actually need to do a pop-up. So reading the ocean, choosing the right waves, predicting where waves are going to break and reading how the water's moving and then paddling into the wave, all that stuff that happens before you actually do the pop-up, which is about 99% of your time in the water. That's actually the hardest part in surfing, and it's also what my course is all about. I have released a mini course that teaches all of that stuff, what happens between when the surfboard is under your arm and under your feet, the 99% of surfing that is done before we stand up. I have a course that goes into the details of all of that stuff, including exercises to complement the pop-up and also your standing position, which is essentially the finishing position of your pop-up. Most other courses out there are focused on what do you do once you're standing up. Well, let's break it down on how to get there. Go to the surfmastery.com homepage and you can go ahead and check out more details on that course and, of course, jump on board. This is basically the course that I wish I had when I started surfing. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Until next time, keep surfing.